Mama Kupila Traktora. Welcome back to the Eurovision Fam stream, you
Oh, Lord.
guys. I hope you're in a good mood. I had my allergy pill, I had my caffeine pill, and I am ready to go to talk to you guys about Ariana. Hello. Yeah,
Katie
welcome
told he
Ariana.
had a
Welcome
caffeine
everyone
pill.
jumping on. Yeah, that's why I'm probably going to be talking fast today. But we are going to be updating you guys on just kind of the few things that happened this week and reviewing 5 songs as a part of our series where we talk about the Eurovision song in depth. So, to get started, how are you doing, Lili Loves?
I don't have a cold anymore.
That's good. You sound a lot better. You sound a lot more
I'm not
uppity and in
sick
your
anymore.
spirits.
Yeah, that's good. Also, yeah, I'm okay other than that. Which makes me great. But yeah, like we're gonna be talking about site articles. We've got our review criteria. We're gonna be talking about, Australia, San Marino, Latvia, Ireland, and of course our favorite tractor song, Croatia. So,
Yes, we
yeah,
are.
let's go ahead and hop into those site
Let's do
articles.
this.
The first we have is Back to the Future, by Aijā, and it was basically talking about how like now we're going to be going back to a televote only for the semi.
Back in the days of Eurovision when we saw the wackiest stuff happen.
Oh my
Televote only
gosh.
semifinal. That was quite a moment in history, was it not?
It wasn't only the semifinals that were televote back then. I have a whole
Yeah.
list of songs that would never have won Eurovision if there was a jury. And basically it's that
Oh.
whole period except for like Molitva would have won
Mm.
still. What else would have won still? Probably that one only. Let's be honest. Oh well, no,
Really?
no.
I feel like Fairy Tale
No.
would
Fairy
have.
Tale had a jury. In
Mm.
2009, it was the semifinals were mostly televote, but one jury song got through. Like the
That's what it
jury
was.
picked one
Yeah.
song.
Hmm. Yeah.
But the other 9 qualifiers were televote only qualifiers. I'm talking about like
Moscow's a fever dream.
2009 was the year they brought back the juries because I guess after Dima Bilan winning, they had to be like, no,
Well, I mean the jump in
refuse.
quality though. The jump in quality from 08 to 09, like,
And that's why we
you
need
know,
juries. I'm sorry.
that's why
Like I
we.
will stand by that statement. We need juries
Yeah.
because like the jump in quality between 2008 and 2009 is why we need juries.
There needs to be an academic paper on that, but yeah, you guys, you just check out Elda's article. She goes like in depth into just how things like the running order or like neighbor voting can influence people's the kind of like televote sway. She articulates it a lot better in her article. So by all means, check it out.
I mean, honestly, I hope it means that we're gonna get more Balkany goodness. I'm like, come on, can we get
Right?
Bosnia and
Yeah,
Herzegovina
because
back now, please?
they're going pop, they're going mainstream, and it doesn't feel quite right, you know?
Like, it's also a matter of like, because people who suck complain about neighbor voting, but it's like if you think about like the Balkans, for example, up until like 30 something years ago, it was one country.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be some cross-cultural musical referencing going on. And same thing with like Eastern Europe. Like these countries' musical industries are so intertwined, it makes sense that there would be neighbor voting. And like that's why I kind of hate when people complain about it because I'm like, but it makes sense why. Like,
I mean, in reality, these are just humans voting for their friends, you know?
yeah, not even that, but also like also a matter of like you vote for a song you like. Oh, this place makes music I like. It's like think about like the U.S. was in Eurovision, for example. I'm not saying I want it, hell no, but I'm saying like let's say the U.S. and Canada participated in Eurovision. Who would we give our points to? Probably Ireland and the U.K. because they have music industries that are very intertwined. Swedes too, but a lot of people don't realize how influential the Swedish are in pop music. I have to explain to people constantly that, name a pop song since the 90s. I promise you there's a Swede somewhere on that production.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, and here's another good point by Lorendi. Croatia, Serbia, and Bosnia all understand more or less each other. Because they're all like Slavic languages, right?
I've heard a perspective actually that The Balkan languages are like a very big collection of them, of course, because they're not all in the same language family.
Yeah.
But the biggest collection of them, the Slavic languages, are so mutually intelligible that sometimes it's just an accent that differs between two languages. That's just one of the claims I've heard, and if that is the case, then it does make the transition of language, the understanding of songs, a lot easier across those borders.
Like I only can really speak for people I know personally, and like my sister, she can understand a lot of Slavic languages,
Mhm.
like understand what's happening in a sentence, but there's only one she ever learned, like studied. And
Mhm.
like I have a friend who he lived, like his first language is Russian, and due to circumstances, he now has to leave. Like he had to move to Poland recently, and he's like, yeah, I can understand kind of what people are saying to me, but it just takes me more time to kind of parse out what's being said.
Mm.
Let's see here. Just looking at other comments. Jovana Doltlich. But no one liked Balkan ballads when they came to doing well in Eurovision.
Koli
Stop.
miluje, milo moje, koli usnete,
I love a
mene
Balkan ballad. I'm
budu.
sorry. I disagree with
Balkan
that
ballads,
statement.
that Giovanna, Balkan ballads are one of my favorite things to hear in Eurovision. I say that without irony. I say that in terms of preference, in terms of songwriting, just things I want to hear. My favorite Eurovision song of all time is Oro, Serbia 2008. And I
Oh my
listen to
gosh,
Balkan
gorgeous.
ballads all the time.
No, I'm sorry.
Even if it doesn't appeal to everyone, it appeals to me, and I'm happy about that.
I'm not. I've made it known. I'm not a big fan of ballads, but you give me a
Mhm.
Balkan ballad, and I'm in heaven. It's just like,
They're
oh,
just
there's just
different.
something. Yes, there's
Unique, like
something
they
about
know,
them.
like honestly though, there's something about Balkan ballads. There's like a soul to them, kind of like how like
Hmm.
how America has like soul, how we kind of invented the
Yeah.
soul genre. The Balkan ballads, they have a similar souliness to them, and it comes from kind of just like the storytelling of the type of music it is.
Yeah, no. I have such a soft spot for Balkan ballads. I think they're like
Mhm.
some of my absolute favorite.
Their
Like,
perfection.
and I only get them at Eurovision. Like,
Mhm.
that's a
Or like you have
Eurovision.
to seek them out after you found the Eurovision artist who like sang a Balkan ballad at Eurovision.
Well, it's like I
Like
know
we
because
don't have access to these like out here, you know?
I mean, like I knew some like artists. Like I know some Bosnian artists, or really a few artists from like the former Yugoslav area because like I was friends with someone who was a Bosnian refugee. So like I had picked up that
Mm.
kind of a sound like in high
Mhm.
school before I got into Eurovision. So yeah, they hit different. Ariana's right. Balkan ballads hit you deep in the feels when done right. A good
Mhm.
Balkan ballad is excellent. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's move on to talking about the review. The review. My gosh, words are hard. The review criteria for how we rate these songs. Do you want to go ahead and go over that for us?
Yeah. So just reminding you guys of the review criteria we use to talk about each of the songs. These are our five. So lyrical content, we're going to be taking a look at the lyrics and analyzing them from the perspective of the text. Production and genre. That kind of speaks for itself. What does the song sound like if you remove the lyrics? And we talk about those sounds and how they kind of group together with other types of sounds in other genres. Unique elements is the third point. So, is there anything that stands out against the other 36 songs in this lineup that we would point out? How well can it be performed live? We can't answer that question for everybody, but it's still there because it is important to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing is, would we stream the song? So this is reflecting our personal taste. And with that said, where would you like to get started?
I think we should kick it off with Australia.
Let's
Just
do it.
because why not? So Australia is bringing us Voyager with the song Promise.
Yeah.
Should we go ahead and start with lyrical content there?
Yeah, and I do want to like I like the lyrics. I like the lyrics. I don't want that to be the only thing I say about it though, because I think there's some kind of layeringness to it. I feel like it's talking kind of about I almost want to say a one night stand. There's like kind of a that was a, do I want to say that? Do I want to say
I don't
that?
know, because like my thing is when I like the lyrics are really kind of sparse here.
Mhm.
Um, they're very vague. I wouldn't go one night stand. I think it's more like I don't know, like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to kind of put together what exactly they're
it
about.
is a little hard to put it together because there isn't really a story tied to it, and the lyrics don't go from like one to another, so you could like kind of follow along with the plot. They sound really nice and they rhyme.
And like they're repetitive, but like this, like Voyager is a prog band. Prog bands don't really, lyrics don't really matter for this genre of music.
They don't really for this song, but they sound nice, and they don't feel wrong. They don't feel like there's no nuance, you know?
Yeah. That's the thing, is like I don't really have much to say, because in my note I literally said I don't have much to say about these lyrics because it's not about lyrics for me.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of does seem to me like it reflects intimacy in some way. It reflects like honest intimacy with a lover of some kind, and I think the first essence I got of that was like, is this about a one-night stand?
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
that's how I would describe that.
I don't really get that vibe personally. I just get like it's something vaguely happening here. And you're gonna promise it's gonna be all right. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I think it's more about the production and genre, so I kind of want to move on to that then.
Yeah.
We've only ever had like really one other prog rock song in Eurovision ever. And this sounds completely different from that prog song. What makes this one good is the music. Because the lyrics are very repetitive, but the music switches up so much with the phrasing that it keeps you engaged throughout the whole song. Like you have your more electronic-y bits, your more rocky bits, your metal-y bits. Like every bit comes together to make something cohesive, but it still has like a diversity of sound to it. And there's a lot of textures happening musically.
Yeah, definitely. And my favorite texture in it is that like electric solo. Like toward the bridge. That is like, I'm so happy that we have a really, really good electric guitar solo this Eurovision. It's coming from Australia. Like that is probably my favorite little section of the song. But yeah, in terms of production and genre, this is so I'm not really that big into prog rock. Like that, this isn't something that I typically consume outside of Eurovision.
Now you don't want to listen to Yes? Some Roundabout. I'm sorry, that's a JoJo reference. That's a fun. Okay, sorry. JoJo, like honestly, the guy who writes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has a very dramatic taste in music, and like the ending sound, like you've probably heard the meme of where like it's on TikTok where like you'll hear like this like riff and then it says to be continued at the bottom. That's the opening riff from Roundabout by Yes, and Yes is kind of like the biggest prog rock band ever. It's like what people think of when they think of prog rock. I explained the joke. I'm sorry, it wasn't funny.
Woo, you guys, my allergies are killing me. But what were we just talking about?
We were talking about John, because you don't really know much about prog rock. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know that much about prog rock. So this is a very educational experience for me, and I'm glad that Voyager was kind of a part of the onboarding to that. There's a lot of electronic elements in this song, but that is also very Voyager. If you listen to like Voyager's other music, it always sounds like you're playing Galaga at different levels.
Yeah.
It's like the amount of electronic just like playing around with like the little soundboard. It's great. Like sometimes people do it and it just doesn't sound great. This does.
I mean, because it's like I've listened to Voyager since like 2004. Like I've known of Voyager for a very long time. So it's kind of like one of those things like, ooh, I haven't had this happen to me in a bit. But it's like a band I've known since before Eurovision. There's another band this year I've known since before Eurovision too. But yeah, like I just one of those things like, okay, cool, like here we are. Yeah, I can't believe the Voyager's gonna be at Eurovision, because that's the reaction I had when they were announced for like Australia, You Decide. I was like, Voyager, really? Okay, you know, like that. I'm like, dang, I've been listening to them for a while. They're gonna be in Australia.
And that was my favorite song in that Australia Decides. That was my favorite song.
I know, me too. And that's why I'm happy that we got them this year.
I'm not going to let this slide, because there's a lot of production elements in this song that are exactly the same as the song that they had in Australia Decides. They did a lot of copy and paste.
That is true.
They did a lot of copy and paste. And I'm not going to show them favoritism just because I really like the song. Y'all still did that.
I mean, at least they're copying and pasting themselves.
Themselves, yeah. It's like, who are they going to go after? Like, The drummers, like, nah,
No,
they're
I
chilling
know what you
because you
mean.
know what? It was a winning formula. It was a winning formula they had,
Hmm.
and the fact that they're closing the semifinal is going to do a song with this kind of production great, you know?
Yeah, no, closing the semi is excellent for them.
Perfect.
Carmen says if Slovenia is not closing semifinal 2, I'm glad that Australia is. I like the song, I like
Mhm.
the singer's voice, and I think that they will that they will have a good vibe on the stage.
I
Yeah,
think they
I think
will.
that this is
I
an
think they
excellent
will.
closer.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So
And
yeah, let's go ahead here. Do you want to talk about unique elements?
unique elements. Okay, yeah. This song is very, very this song is very unique. And in the sense that this is like very kind of like heavy in the metally kind of like rocky production, very, very dense production, but it's optimistic. You
Yeah.
know? If if we heard this song without the lyrics, people would probably assume that it would have to be about like different kind of things, but with like a more kind of like negative undertone. This has an extremely positive undertone, and that creates such a contrast with the type of sound that the song is that it's just brilliant in my opinion. That is what I find unique.
Okay. Again, I'm back into the whole, nothing else sounds like this
Hmm.
thing. That's happening here because this is gonna stand out no matter where you put it in the running order. It really is. And
And
like,
by the way, Australia. Oh, sorry, I
sorry.
interrupted.
No, it's okay. What were you gonna say?
I'm just gonna say, I showed my dad all of the songs by bands this year, and he was like, "Okay, yeah, Australia is one that like I think is so unique out of everybody." And
Yeah.
my dad, he's like literally the biggest rock consumer I've ever known, and he says that there is something very special about Australia that needs to be kind of like looked out for, and that's the perspective of like a mid-50s Filipino American man.
Mhm.
So that's something to I don't know, take with a grain of salt.
Yeah. I think I know because it's like I have this comment from Georgios Papadopoulos who says, "Hello from Croatia on vacation. I made it. Enjoy your vacation. Croatia
Enjoy
is
a
gorgeous."
Croatian vacation.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry because now I have another reference in my head that just popped up from a musical.
Hmm.
Because I know where Georgios is from. And LOL, my mom knew about Voyager. Okay, so your mom's also like kind of one of those people who knew about
Taste.
Voyager too. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's the fact that there's nothing else like this in the song contest this year, or really ever really in the
Hmm.
contest. Okay, let's talk about the how well it can be performed live. We technically don't know, but because it's so similar to their song last year, Australia Decides,
Which was performed
I'm
excellent.
yeah, I'm easing into this can be performed well live. Also,
Yes, so am
like I
I.
said, I've been listening to Voyager since 2004. That's how many years ago? 19?
That 19 years ago.
They know what they're doing on stage.
Yeah.
I have
Hmm.
no worries about this.
They're veterans. They're veterans to the industry.
Exactly. So yeah. Now,
And would we stream the song? I seek
yes.
it out, baby. I seek
Hmm.
it out
Yes, I do
at least
stream
once a
this.
day. Mm,
It's
it's
good.
like daily medication.
Yeah. So those are our thoughts about Australia. Just trying to see if
Hmm.
there's any other comments. Ariana says big stage show coming, probably with them being last in the running order.
I know. Oh my gosh. Imagine if they went like super big, like with the staging. That would bring me so much joy.
I think it's good to give Australia a favor since they're not a televote country. So you think being them
Yeah,
last kind of helps boost them.
I
Yeah, I
do
don't know
agree.
why. I don't know why
Hmm.
Australia's not a televote country because they bring quality consistently.
Like I'm sorry, after like 2016 when I thought they made all those friends, you know?
Yeah. Oh right, with Dami Eam.
Hmm.
Didn't they do better in 2015 though? I mean, no,
No, they
they
got
no.
seventh in 15. They got second in 16.
It's just my own bias. I think it's because I prefer the 2015 song.
For
All
me,
right,
my
let's
heart awakes to the sound of silence, but
again. We've gone over this. I'm not a big ballad person. Like I don't
hey,
mind Sound of Silence. It's just not my favorite.
I love a ballad. I love Dami's voice, and I'm also standing with my Asian sister, who like one of the three we've seen in the contest. So
Let's see. There was Tommy Eam. I
there was
mean,
the
I do
Danish
have a
lady,
spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet.
Angoon.
There's more. I just have to go back to the 80s and have to be focused specifically on the Netherlands.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about that.
The
We
first
literally
ever,
just talked about that.
Yeah, the first ever Asian or Pacific Islander performer was for the Netherlands, like back in 60 something. Was it 63?
Mhm.
I want to say,
Was she
or maybe
Indonesian?
64. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was. How did you know?
Because we talked about this.
Right. So yeah, sorry.
All
So yeah,
right.
let's go ahead and let's talk about San Marino now.
San
So
Marino.
we've got
Okay.
Like an Animal by the Piqued Jacks. Do you want to start off with
Mhm.
lyrical content?
The lyrics are kind of upsetting, I'm not gonna lie. I was reading through them last night, and I read through them again this morning, and it just I don't know, like, what I'm seeing the lyrics from, like, a third party perspective, like, so I'm seeing the singer sing these lyrics to a subject, and it
Yeah.
seems a little predatory. Like, there's something about it that's just like, "Can you please leave this woman alone?" You guys, I work at a bar. I have that thought literally every night that I'm working at the bar, where it's like there's a creepy guy and there's a girl who's just like trying to have a drink, and he won't leave her alone. And I'm just waiting for the second where she gives me some kind of signal, leave the girl alone. Like, that is the only thing I get really lyrically from this. And it's sad because I really did try to focus on the other four criteria that we have
Mm-hmm.
to analyze the song with, but I get so tied up just by how upsetting the lyrics are.
Yeah, like I don't know, like they're very Maroon 5-y. Like this whole
Oh,
situation is so
oh
Maroon
wow, that
5-y.
just put an awful taste in my mouth.
Like the
Yes.
lyric content of this is so Maroon 5. But like at least
Why does
Maroon 5.
Adam Levine always like sing a song like that? Like, I feel
But
like
here's
every
the thing:
3 years he sings a song that has this exact premise.
when it comes to these guys, English isn't their first language, so it's like
It's true.
less
It's not.
egregious
Yeah.
to me.
Hmm.
Like I don't like the lyrics; they do make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But they're less like I don't mind them as much because I know that this guy's like these their first language is not English.
Hmm.
Like it just comes across as like Ariana says it well. They come across as sleazy to me. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like
I
the
mean, Peak Jacks, they seem cool. Like,
yeah.
I've seen some videos of them recently. They seem great, awesome personality. The lyrics don't reflect that. Not this
Yeah,
song.
just like lyrically this is not it.
Hmm.
Um there's like I mean and they're trying out some stuff. Like there's literary allusions and everything or like mythological
Hmm.
allusions which work. I just like you can tell
Oh,
English isn't their
they're
first
the
language.
laziest. They're the laziest metaphors that you could see, like, in a song, though. It's literally just to make it rhyme.
I know. It's like again, English isn't their first language. So like we're on a like a learning barrier
Yeah,
here, like a
you're
learning
right.
curve with
No,
that. But it's like
I need to remember that. I need to
I think they're
consistently remember
Italians.
that.
Like if this was an Italian,
There-
it wouldn't be as like what the heck is happening? Because I mean,
Mm,
it's also Eurovision, so like we can't get so hung up on weird phrases in Eurovision songs. Because like I'm sorry,
mhm.
Eurovision's kind of known for having some odd things happening lyrically in
Like the
English.
entirety of Yodel It, like the lyrics to that. What?
I still remember. I had a coworker who was like, "Why didn't you tell me this existed?" I'm like, "Sir, I didn't want to harass you with Yodel It."
I don't want to catch myself a case.
Yeah, just want to like, we have to report you to HR. You keep sending people Yodel It.
Be that person.
No, no.
Anyways, production and genre. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, yeah. I don't mind the production. Again, it's very Maroon 5 production genre wise.
Hmm.
But the thing is, the lead singer of this band does not sound like a clarinet that was given sentience. So they have that going for them over Maroon 5.
Not okay. Not a clarinet that was given sentience, more like an out of tune viola that was given sentience. The way, you know,
Yeah.
like
I
like
don't
the
know. I
high
don't
notes of that
mind
song.
it. It works for
I,
me.
not really me.
Hmm.
I have issues with the production and like for me, it kind of just seems like the entire song is off key. Like I don't know if it's like the trilling of the guitar that's like da-da-da, 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 or like whatever that melody is that's like throwing the rest of the acoustic off, but
What?
I can't really hear anything else except for that kind of like chirping guitar that's just making me focus on the lyrics because there's nothing else happening with it. It's looping.
Okay, here we go. Ariana says they seem like a decent group though, and their other
Mhm.
music has higher quality. I don't know what happened here. I think I know what it
I'll check
is.
out that other music.
Their other music is decent. I've listened to it. They've also got a good aesthetic to them, and they're very well dressed consistently.
Okay. Oh yeah, they are. I agree.
They're very well dressed. My issue is maybe it's because we don't really have an official good audio version of this. We only have the San Marino Live, which is like a mess an audio form. Then we have the pre-party from last weekend, which again was a mess audio. They sounded good at Poland though. I watched a couple of clips from the Polish pre-party, and I did like the way that the song sounded there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what? You and that way. No, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about like the music.
I'm annoying myself with that too much. Like, yeah, but anyways. Okay, that's good though. That is really reassuring that they did sound great in Warsaw because, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to know what this sounds like, not with weird San Marinese audio.
Or like that bubblegummy junior Eurovision staging.
Yeah, I want to know what this would actually like sound like when completed. I'm
ready for that because my commentary on this could change completely.
Yeah, I guess like that's the whole thing is it's like I don't know what happened here other than like we haven't had a good quality audio version of it yet, so it kind of makes it hard for me to judge. I mean, there's a good. I think the structure of the song is fine to me. Yeah. I think the opening guitar riff is nice. Musically, there's a good hook and it stays in your head. Like it's catchy, so people are gonna remember it. It's just like the lyrics. I'm just like, I don't know. Like I wish there was like a better, cleaner audio so I could listen to that and not have such a hyper focus on the weird lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay, Ariana says we'll get the studio version on the 5th of April. Okay, so that's maybe Wednesday.
Not too far away from now.
Yeah, it'll be Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be waiting.
Look forward to hearing that. Here. Yeah. Let's go ahead and let's talk about unique elements.
You go first. Don't take that from me. Don't take that from me because then I have to come up with something else.
I mean, like, here's the thing. Here's the issue. It kind of like I redid all my rankings yesterday, and they're kind of hanging out in the middle of the pack for me. Because there's stuff I like about it, but there's stuff I don't like about it. Like, let me say middle, like lower middle of the pack for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to phrase it other than that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's catchy. It's very catchy. I think that's what's unique.
Yeah. How well can it be performed live?
Okay, so I've only really thoroughly watched through the live performance in San Marino, and because like that was just everywhere, that performance was not super amazing, but it also wasn't a disaster. It was pretty competent, like mediocre leading into competent.
Yeah.
But you know what? That is literally just the San Marinese middle school auditorium stage. So who can blame them? Because literally, like, anyone would be a mess up there.
I swear.
Salvaje.
I enjoy the San Marinese National Final. I really do. Because it's like
a treasure of our times.
It's like, how do I phrase this in the way that doesn't sound like it's high camp, okay? Yeah. It is peak camp. Like, I love a talent show. I really do. Like a middle school talent show. I can't go to middle school talent shows without people looking at me like, what is this adult person doing here? So, you know, it could be my yearly talent show fix. But yeah. And then I think it's performed decently. I liked it in Poland last night. I thought it was really good in Poland. Like they got a good stride there and had like a good crowd behind them. So yeah. And then would we stream it? I would probably, but we don't have like an official version, so I haven't.
Yeah. I personally don't, but that's because we don't have an official version, you guys.
Yeah.
Clock that.
Wendy says San Marino will not be last. Okay.
I don't think they will either. I think my instinct is just telling me that, yeah, that also is not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Um, I want them to return what Georges Papadopoulos says. I want them to return with something better. I honestly don't see how they will get 1 point in the semi. How can this come top 10 in one country out of 16? It's probably DOA.
That's the thing. We can't subtract that
Yeah.
potential either because like there always has to be. I mean, there doesn't always have to be, but there often is a handful of songs who are pretty DOA, and this
Mm-hmm.
is it's kind of glancing in that direction at the current moment,
Yeah.
and that is
Like,
worrisome.
and it's San Marino, and like San Marino always struggles with the televote.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We'll keep an eye on it, but yeah, it's really hard to predict.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go over to our next song. We are going to be talking about Latvia. The song is called
Hmm.
Aijā, and it is by Sudden Lights. So let's go ahead
Hmm.
and talk about Aijā.
Hmm.
So lyrical
So
content.
lyrically, you guys, this is just it's so gorgeous lyrically. Like I love the English lyrics, but like the Latvian lyrics, despite it only being like 4 or 5 words, that is just it kind of provides the keystone for the rest of the song and like the title of the song.
Mm-hmm.
I love the kind of element of storytelling that they have in this song to the point that it's like okay, so I don't know if anyone here knows, but I also write fiction. I write fiction novels, and this song, Aya, it reflects something that I like to write about. Kind of like I'm going to read to you the chorus. So don't cry. I'll try to say the right words at the right times. Sing you lullabies. Please don't wake up. Wake up. That essence of that chorus is something that I really identify with in my fiction writing. So like I like how that enchants that side of my brain, and also there's a lot of the fact that Aya is symbolic of a lullaby. I think that works really really well with the texture of the entire song. It's brilliant. I really do think so.
See, I don't really have much to say about the lyrics because it's like they're so simple
Mhm.
and they're very simple. And on
They're
the
not dense
repetitive
at all.
side, like my thing with this one is I really don't have anything to say about the lyrics because they're just there as like a sound that needs to happen. For me,
Mhm.
all the magic all lies in like in the song, like the musical aspects.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
talking about those musical aspects, this is beautiful. Like the composition is so cool. It's
Mhm.
also like just a gorgeous composition on top of that. Like we're kind of leading in on that drum machine beat. Very sparse, like they're playing on the rem. Um,
Mhm.
Guitar, everything that's layered in this is layered to perfection. Like I have like no notes basically because it's just like perfect, perfect, perfect.
Mhm.
Um, like the drumming is kind of choppy, but at the
Mhm.
same time, like it's choppy and experimental, but like not distractingly so. The guitar is both melodic and grungy. The
Mhm.
vocals are just crazy good. He sounds so good. Like I think his name's
Yeah.
Andreas. He sounds so. He's a fantastic singer.
And
Absolutely great
no
voice.
one really pays like that much attention to him, but he does sound I've every performance I've heard of Aya, it has been flawless vocally.
Yeah,
But speaking now on the production and genre, I know I bring this up every time we talk about this song, but I'm still just so much in love with it.
yeah.
The idea that the percussion moves from like a 5 part beat to a 3 part beat in the chorus, from the verse to the chorus, that sounds so amazing to me. And I love how they decided it's not going to be 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 at any point in the song. It rides between two odd number rhythmic patterns, and that carries so well for when we get all that heavy production in the chorus, for when we get like the kind of belty in the chorus. There's so much contrast here, and the layers, just the tiramisu of layers that is
Hmm.
going on with this song is just so satisfying. I love songs that from a musical and or lyrical perspective really just makes you think and think and think and think. This is yeah, this song, it excites the intellect very
Hmm.
well, and the production is it reflects that.
Yeah, this is just so good. And I think with
Mhm.
the unique elements, it's the fact that like everything is just so perfect about this one.
Mhm.
Also, I can see consistently, I'm seeing people like loving this.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just outside of the fandom I'm
Late to the
on,
party, but y'all made it.
but like I see a lot of people. No, I mean like even before the national, like when the national final was happening, I saw a lot of people
Yeah.
giving this a lot of love.
Mhm. It was
But
my favorite too.
everyone loves it for a different reason, I feel like. And that's something that
Mhm.
makes me go, "Ooh, this has like a pretty decent chance I feel of qualifying." Because like
Mhm.
everyone likes it, but for something different. So I feel like it has a kind of a broad appeal that we're kind of writing off because it's Latvia. You know what I mean? Because Latvia has had the
Yeah.
best of luck lately.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think this is just a really good song.
It is very, very good, and it's my favorite Southern Lights song too. All right.
So how
So,
well could
oh,
it be?
my unique element actually, my unique element is the fact that it goes into a lullaby at the very last 30 seconds of the song, and you kind of just drift away from the planet for a second, and then it closes. I think that is
Yeah.
just so art. That's just art to me. I love the Latvian section of the song. That is one of my favorite moments in the entire Eurovision lineup.
Yeah.
10 out of
I mean,
10. 10 out
yeah,
of 10.
no. It's fantastic.
Mhm.
And then how well can we perform live? We've already said it. One of the most stable
Find
vocals.
a bad performance. Find a bad performance for me. I don't think you're gonna be able to.
One
I
of
mean,
the
even in 2018 when they got like second place in Supernova, like
mhm.
they I mean they deserve that too because Andre, like yeah, I forget his name, but he is an excellent vocalist and he has such good chemistry with his bandmates, which is really
Yeah.
all you can ask for.
Yeah. And then do we stream it?
I seek it out.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, 100% agreed. All right, let's just go ahead and like, just look at some comments here. All right, first one is Giovanna Dutchlick. I like it, but I'm sad many people have it. Many people that do semifinal one qualification videos don't have this one passing.
I know, like that's I have seen that too, and uh,
Here's
I
what I
would
think.
hmm, hmm,
I think a lot of people who make videos on YouTube specifically, and a lot of people in the Eurovision fandom kind of have very narrow taste in music.
hmm,
And like we have to take all of these things like a grain of salt to a certain extent. I think it's
hmm.
also because we're such hardcore Eurovision fans, we know Latvia hasn't been in the final for a while.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked that like Line didn't qualify. And like, you know what I mean? Like it's like yeah.
I mean I understand Line more now 6 years later,
Mhm.
but no, that
Yeah.
was like bottom five for me, song wise, from a song perspective.
Yeah. Well, I disagree. It was top 10 for me. But like, yeah, no, I think that we have to be careful with this one because it's like I get my hopes up because I just everyone I know who like everyone likes this song and they all like it for different reasons.
Mhm.
Yeah. Peter Hottage says, not my favorite genre, but somehow this is my top 20 and it's a grower too. I need them in the final, but it's 100% borderline. I wish they were in semi too. Semifinals are always unbalanced. Yeah, the
We're
semifinals are
never
always unbalanced.
we're never gonna escape that. We're never gonna get an even semifinal. It's always gonna be one that's super stacked and one that's super easy, and that's just it's
Yeah.
not fair, but
Yeah.
it's what's drawn. So
Yeah, no, I understand. But yeah, I think it is borderline at the same time, even though I have that hope because
Mhm.
everyone who likes it for a different reason. I feel like,
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm just trying to see. Ariana says it's such a special song.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm gonna miss the song so much after this Eurovision year.
Yeah, and then Peter Hadich says, Alicia said, one thing I agree with is that the fandom unites. We can have Latvia in the final, but then we will lose, for example, the Netherlands or IDK who.
I don't mind losing the Netherlands for Latvia.
I really don't either. I'd rather take
We're
Latvia over
we're,
the
we're
Netherlands.
probably in the unpopular camp. I see a lot of love for the Netherlands, and I do understand why. But when it comes to me, when it comes to what I want,
I mean, Carmen's on our
I
side
gotta
too.
give it to Southern Lights.
Yeah,
I
Carmen's on our
prefer this
side.
one
I
to the
prefer this one.
Netherlands. So do I.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I don't know who like I have to really sit down with the songs to think of who's gonna win and who's gonna qualify and who's not.
Yeah.
I don't really have a gut feeling.
That's really hard.
Usually I go with my gut. My gut's usually right about these things. Like, there are songs that I will never stop talking about. Oh, I called that not qualifying the second I heard it.
My gut told me Hear Them Calling was going to win Eurovision 2016.
My gut did that too. My gut told me. Want to talk about 2016 real quick? I was convinced Iceland was going to win 2016. I was like, oh, Hear Them Calling 100% is going to win.
Yeah.
I thought Ukraine would not qualify.
I did not think Ukraine would not qualify. I thought they would at least land top 5.
This seems challenging. Here's the thing, though. Ukraine was my favorite song that year. I was like, oh, this isn't going to qualify. Because I was so used to my favorites not doing well. I was like, oh, Ukraine's not going to qualify. And then Iceland's going to win. Iceland was like Iceland was my third that year. And yeah, I was like, oh yeah, Iceland's like going to totally win. And then we get there. I was like, well, 2 of my top 3 are out, but Ukraine's still in. And then Ukraine won. I was like, yeah, my favorite one. So yeah, sorry.
You're so lucky.
Here we go. Das Mystery Man 12. Latvian fans should act like K-pop hive man. They vote and into the final like hell. Ha ha ha. Yes.
I will get them together. I will rally the troops.
Yeah.
And we will vote Latvia into the final.
Guys, you gotta K-pop hive mind it.
Come on.
All right.
Southern Lights fighting.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go on from Latvia to our next song, which is from Ireland. We are going to be talking about We Are Won by Wild Youth.
Yeah. So. You can start.
Okay, we'll start with lyrical content.
Yes.
There's a lot of words here. There's a lot of metaphors happening, but it's nothing. It's it's so like empty. It's like we need to just write something inspirational. Yeah. But like not inspirational in any kind of specific way because it needs to have broad appeal. It's like I kind of want to tell you like my thoughts about lyrics kind of tie into my thoughts about genre really. So go ahead and give your thoughts.
Okay, so lyrically, I do agree with you. They do feel hollow. There's not really anything to them. It is just inspo lyrics, but the thing is, there's zero nuance. There's literally zero kind of thinking you need to do to understand this. And if it's from a perspective of like, oh yeah, this is my first year learning English, perfect. You know, it's just like I'm learning English for the first time. Yeah, then by all means, the lyrics to this song. But I really, really want more metaphor. I want more context. I want more everything from the lyrics that I just don't receive. There's nothing that really happens, and it gets to a point where it just feels repetitive. And lyrically, I know we have the revamp, but I don't know. I feel like it's just a bit to sit through, like when you're toward the end and it like nothing else is happening, you know?
All right, now this is I'm going to tell my lyrical thoughts and production and genre here at this point. Mm-hmm. This is a Christian song.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I didn't know. Like, that's literally.
I don't know. Like I don't think I don't know if like other countries have Christian bands like we do in the U.S. This is the kind of song that like your lame friend whose parents only let them listen to Christian radio and VeggieTales music listens to and go, oh, this band really rocks. You're like, honey, I can't wait for you to get out of your parents' house and go to college because your mind is going to be blown by something else. It's Chardonnay fine, people. But like, there's like, it's the kind of music that a specific kind of person listens to that you go, oh, I can't wait for you to turn 18. I really can't. Because you're going to like, everything's going to blow your mind when you turn 18. This sounds like a Christian rock song. It sounds like a Christian rock song. I already see like a bunch of specifically white kids with their hands in the air swaying back and forth with tears in their eyes because it's the best song they've ever heard. Like it's so, and that's the issue I have with it lyrically. It's the issue I have with the production genre. It just sounds like a Christian rock song. And maybe it's because I grew up in an atheist household, but I was allowed to listen to actual music. So like I just hear this sound and I shut down. Like I struggle so much because I just hear the sound and I go, someone's gonna try to convert me. Mm-hmm. That's where we're heading now, and I don't want to deal with that. Like it sounds like a Christian rock song. I have
Like
no
that.
need for this. Like, this is like the exact opposite of something I'd want to listen to.
I'm going to piggyback right off of that. And okay, so I grew up Catholic. We didn't really listen to Christian rock as Catholics, but I was always around people who did listen to Christian rock. And the reason why they like it so much is because they don't listen to anything else. It's because their music taste is it can tend to be so narrow that this, of course, sounds like the most inspiring thing they've ever heard. If you guys have heard like American Christian rock, it has kept literally the same single note throughout the decades. It has always sounded relatively the same, and it's always going for like the inspo type sound where it's like, okay, time for some like piano chords and then like a guitar shred and then like, yeah, unity. It does get tiresome, and with all the Christian radio that I've listened to in my life, this isn't any different. You would hear any evangelical child singing this song.
No, I mean, like, and like, it's the kind of like it's the one that is so subtle about it, because it's like it's subtle because it's trying to trick you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like I was in Girl Scouts, so that's kind of like where I had that exposure to people, like that, because the homeschooled kids were always in Girl Scouts. Yeah, I hear this, I'm like, I'm in this chick's minivan, sitting in the very far back seat while this is playing on the radio as we're coming back from a Girl Scout camping trip, and I'm just so happy that my dad got me batteries for my like Walkman. Yeah.
That's and I hate having to say that, you know, because while they seem like fun, they seem great. I really like the short clips I've seen of their personality, but like,
they seem fine. It's just like this song is also the song doesn't say their name. What about this is wild? What about this is youthful? It's youth group. It's youth group.
It's youth
but
group.
Youthful, no.
It is youth group.
It's one of those things where it's like I see what they're going for, but it's also I blame the broadcaster more than anybody. I really do.
That broadcaster hates Eurovision more than anyone else. Like I don't know what it is with late or like the Irish delegation, or I mean I don't blame the Irish delegation for what happened to them last year. Last year was just a mistake, but generally, like, they don't take this seriously at all.
I think what it is because this is the issue I have. Like, this is going to just turn into me complaining about the Irish delegation for a bit. I feel like their head of delegation is still stuck in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. But like the fall off era of the 90s when Katrina.
And they're still stuck in like, oh, Ireland was good at Eurovision in the 90s. Let's just do what we did in the 90s. Babe. It is
you have the entire world voting now.
It has been 30 years since 1993. Ooh, Ireland 93 though, in your eyes. Ooh, now I've got it in my head. Oh, I love that song.
Yep.
But like
that is like, Irish perfection. That's Irish perfection. But you know what? It was 90s formula. You can leave it. Sweden, you leave your formula. Like Ukraine, you know what? They actually follow a different formula every time. They don't even follow the same template every year.
You know what though? I literally
have artists. Come on.
Friday night. This is gonna be a little crazy, but it has to do with this 100%. On Friday night, I did dream that Ireland did win Eurovision this year. That was a dream I had Friday night. I woke up Saturday morning like, what the heck was that?
There was a demon in your house. But like,
I literally dreamt that Ireland had won, and I was so confused when I woke up. I was like, did that just happen? I legitimately woke up and double-checked the Wikipedia page because I was so concerned about the dream I had. Like, it was just... Yeah.
Oh my god.
So in my dream, this one,
what was it? Okay, reason being the jury or the televote.
I don't remember what. I just remember waking up and going, Ireland won Eurovision? Like, okay, I have really vivid dreams. Like, I have super vivid dreams. So sometimes I wake up and think that they actually happened.
Okay.
And I woke up and was like, that happen. So yeah. Anyway.
Unique
Unique
elements.
elements. None. Like I don't think we've. I've heard this song so many times. I haven't heard the song at Eurovision necessarily, but I've heard this song so many times.
I think the unique element for me is the fact that he, like the lead singer, only sings the full chorus one time at the beginning.
I did notice.
There are some points where the performer just like ditches the mic in the middle of the chorus, and it's unique. Maybe it's a performance choice.
Yeah. And then how about how well could it be performed live?
Not well. Not well.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
It sounds fine live. It sounds fine. Because the Late Show, their audio is always weird. Anyways, it sounded actually. Was it last night in Poland? I think they sounded pretty good.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I watched late, and yeah, I did not think that was a good performance at all.
Yeah. And then would we stream it?
Nope.
No. Nope. No. All right. So looking at comments, we have one from George. Yes. Oh, Gilo, don't jinx that.
I know. I agree with Georgios. Like you really did put that out there.
I woke up so confused. Like I said,
I thought I was the one with questionable takes.
Do you think I wanted to dream that?
Do you think I wanted that? Somewhere in your subconscious is that little Christian girl.
Oh God! Please don't.
There is someone. No,
you know what? It's that same inner person who, like, I will literally put on my God is an awesome God sometimes, and just that song rocks. I don't care what anyone says. That song bangs. It's that same person. It's a good song. I will defend it.
She's there. She's just starving.
She can stay starving. I promise, like, I'm not angry. I just, like, I have a weird day sometimes. Let me think here. Oh, okay. Peter Hadich says, there was a time where this was my favorite from the national selection. However, the song grew off of me.
Oh.
Okay, so like that's
they were your favorite in the national selection?
You know what? There's that, you know, because that means like maybe the first listen it has more appeal to people.
That's good. That could do them. That could actually score them some pretty decent points if that is true.
In a stadium of Eurovision fans, there is like it's gonna help it boost.
And I mean, like, yeah, it's pretty catchy. Everyone knows the chorus. They would be singing along.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to see.
Especially if the taps are going good.
Ivana Dachlet says we don't really have those in Serbia as far as I know. Lucky.
You're not missing anything.
You're not.
Like,
they're the literal.
When you experience the shell of a culture that American culture is sometimes, you would be surprised at like how plain things can get and how much people love them.
I'm not going to say what I was thinking. Other than, fun fact, my mother was in a cult for 10 years. So that kind of tells you I have thoughts. All right, let's see here. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the last song now. Which Carmen already mentioned here. Carmen says, I can't just listen to it because the chorus gets stuck in my head all day, and I'd rather be singing
Mama Copila Tractora
all day. So
all right. So
we're talking about Croatia, and we're talking about Mama by Let 3. So let's go. Lyrical content.
Okay.
Do you want to start or should I?
I can start.
Okay.
So this is definitely not Mia Dimšić guilty pleasure, you guys. Lyrically, there is repetition, but it works kind of like in a rhythmic sense. There is there's a lot of nuance to the lyrics. There's a lot of kind of present modern day event contexts that are lending a lot to the text of these lyrics, but there's also just a lot of bizarre stuff happening. I think I need to look at it from the right kind of lens in order to fully appreciate it. I don't hate it though, you know?
Okay.
Like there's something lyrically that's like, okay, it kind of jams.
Okay, so according to the Let 3 lore I have gathered, this is a song from a musical. Like the end goal is like there's a musical happening. And this is one of the songs in the musical, from what I've comprehended of lore regarding this song in particular. And I see it. Lyrically, like you said, there's not a lot happening lyrically, but there's a lot happening lyrically, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like this is the antithesis of Water Gun.
Yeah.
Where with Water
you're
Gun,
right.
you have a song where it's about someone who, as a child, liked to play war. This song is more of a man who still has a grown adult who still has that childish idea of what war is that's happening.
Yeah.
Like you've got the tractor stuff, which is like a reference to Putin getting a tractor from Lukashenko.
Yeah.
And that's just two terrible people. You know, it's like this. There's stuff happening here lyrically. Also, you've got the whole fact that like the pre-chorus is just saying the alphabet before going into, hey mom, you know, I'm gonna go to war on a tractor. I'm gonna play and stuff. Like all of that stuff is coming from one person, and that one person is somebody who has that childish idea of what war is. Like it's like a comedic take on like a dictator, and that character is that comedic, almost the Great Dictator-esque a bit.
Yeah.
With that playfulness. But then you run into the chorus. It's like that little psychopath stuff that's like a chorus singing that part. And that kind of is like people criticizing who that dictator is.
Yeah.
And then not realizing it. And so like there is stuff happening here lyrically.
And they aren't dense lyrics at all. These are very few lyrics, honestly, but it does get you thinking. And I like that. I like that a lot.
Now, production and genre?
It's really hard to tell. I feel like it's kind of everywhere. Okay, I do like, now that you have mentioned musical, there is some kind of, I don't know, like stage showy kind of sound to it, where it's like, yeah, this is meant for a bigger soundtrack with like a lot of other tracks. It kind of has, there's all kinds of genres, all kinds of sounds. Like someone mentioned, it kind of sounds like you're flipping through like a radio station or like a bunch of radio stations at once. And yeah, that is kind of what it sounds like. It's very hard to pick up what's actually happening though. And I've tried, I've attempted.
I hear this. All I hear is like a punk rock musical. Like that's what I'm getting from this song. Because it's 100% that punk element of chaos and doing something to be shocking.
Yeah.
And like that being like the whole point of like, what is that, the quote? It's provocative. It gets the people going from Blades of Glory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole point is that it's supposed to shock you and make you a little uncomfortable. But there's like melodic qualities happening at the same time, which makes me go back to that musical theater aspect of it. It's like, I just hear this, I'm like, oh, it's a punk musical. Because the structure is still very punk. Because punk music has a kind of a weird structure typically. And that's why people found it to be off-putting. But that is something I find to be appealing about it.
Okay.
So like, yeah, I hear this thing, oh, like this is just a straight up punk song. But like if they made a musical version of it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Unique elements.
Everything. Literally everything about it. Like lyrics
nothing else
are unique.
like this.
Production's unique. The stage show is unique. The group themselves are unique. There's nothing plain about this. It's not cream cheese. It's not some wild youth.
It's not official Eurovision Philadelphia light cream cheese. The official cream cheese.
I'm still like, I want to see the email chain between Philadelphia and the EBU where they're just like, you know what? like we're besties now because
We need-
that
we
was an
need a
American
cream-
brand, is it not? It's an American brand.
It's owned by Kraft.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
We
So
need a
Kraft
cream
and the
cheese
EB
sponsor. Guys, I don't know how Eurovision has gotten so long without a cream cheese sponsor. What have they been putting on their bagels?
Oh my gosh. Like not Eurovision cream cheese? Ugh.
I don't know, man. How do you make a cheesecake without it?
Like vegan
How?
cheesecakes, but I can't. I can't. They're not great.
Sorry.
That's just me personally, but
yeah.
where were we? What was the next thing?
Yeah. How well can we perform live? Well.
Pretty well. Well.
Yeah, it's good live.
Yeah.
It was great last night in Poland.
I bet it was.
It was a whole vibe. And then last, do we stream it? I do.
I now have gotten more in the habit of not skipping it every time.
And I have a playlist on my phone or on Spotify.
It's grown on me so much.
That is
which is weird to say.
It's my playlist. It's called Melons. Don't ask the name. It's just Melons. And this is a playlist of like old punk and rock songs. And if this one comes on like in between a couple of Dead Kennedy songs, it hits. It hits so good. But yeah, no, I do stream this one and I do enjoy it. So let's look at comments. Okay, Georgios Papadopoulos says, I can say my Croatian friends are proud of their entry. Their message is great, but the song just is not for me. Could qualify though.
The song itself is not really for me either. I don't really listen to punk, and I'm very sparing with when I listen to soundtrack. So I do see it qualifying though. That's the thing. In a televote only semifinal, I see this qualifying.
Yeah, same. Giovanna Dotlich says the studio version makes it more palatable for people, especially outside of the Balkans. I think that's something I can see because it's like I remember like with Alicia, she said that like she went to listen to this. I'm like, but listen to it in studio, and she's like, yeah, you're kind of right about that. I'm like, yeah, it works better in studio. It's like less isolating. I feel like there's less discordance, and it gives you a chance to really hear like all the different aspects. Yeah. So yeah, I would agree in studio. It's definitely not as chaotic sounding.
Yeah.
Liam says everyone has this qualifying, but I don't see it. It's just so strange.
It's not a personal qualifier to me. Not me personally, but I feel like it is just so weird and so out there. It's going to be memorized it's going to be like written in the psyche of everyone watching the semifinal. And there's going to be people who just watch Eurovision just for the fun of it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of
people who would vote.
There's a lot of people who watch Eurovision just on Saturday night, or that's the struggle for them is going to be getting into that final. I feel like because there's people who watch Eurovision, but the people who watch it just for like the spectacle of it all tend to really only watch for like Saturday night. So if this gets to Saturday night, I can see it doing super well with the televote, especially coming from like the UK. Because their televote's gonna be like, oh, this is weird. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's a lot of British people who still watch Eurovision just to like laugh at it, basically. What semi are they in? Croatia's in semi 2? No, semi 1. I don't
remember.
They're in semi-final 1. I see a pathway for qualification for Croatia.
I do see one too.
Because Serbia is voting in that semi. The Czech Republic will probably give it some love. Just looking here. Finland, I can see giving it points. Because it's got, again, those rock elements at the same time. Ireland would give it some points because it's going to be a little weird. And the big old thing, because there's plenty of people in Ireland who kind of watch Eurovision to laugh at still. And I can see Germany tossing it some points. But yeah, like no, semi. I think I would say 100. It's like totally qualifying if it's in semi 2. And semi 1, that's where I can kind of go, maybe it won't qualify. But I still have a strong feeling it will. Because it's like, it's not starting at 0. It's starting with probably around like, I can see like a few countries that would give it like 5s and 6s already. So yeah, it's not starting at 0. And I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, because Ariana says perhaps it'll be overstimulating live. We'll have to see what the final product will be.
That was my issue with the first. That was my issue with the first live performance. It was really overstimulating in just everything about it. And that's why I was not able to access it, honestly.
And I think that's probably what would make it the most isolating to other people. But I mean, the first time I watched that live, I was like, oh, they're doing this, huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I have to also remember, because like my musical taste is so weird. And I come from like a musical background where that sort of visual does not offend me or shock me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyways, let's talk about poll results. So we had the poll
results, you guys,
this week, and San Marino came in 5th with 2% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
Ireland got 10%. Croatia got 12%.
Oh wow.
Australia, we get 28% for. So the winner was Latvia with 48%.
Nice.
Absolutely unslided.
Nice. Wow. So, yeah. Sudden Light's blowing everyone out of the water in that poll. That's so promising.
Yeah, like, and like that's a lot of the comments. It was like basically a lot of people were in the comment section were like, this makes me hope, like seeing Sudden Lights be so popular, it gives me hope it's gonna qualify. And I really think it does deserve to be in the final, because it's just such a beautifully written song.
I need this in the final. I personally need this in the final.
Like, Europe, give this to us in the final, please. Oh, we can vote this year.
We can vote. We absolutely can. And you bet that I will be. Because, like, I can't... I'm making it a goal this year to not let anyone in my top 5 not make it to the final.
Good luck.
It's going to be a goal. And y'all know me. I fail at this every year, so...
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead. We have next week coming up, we're going to be doing... talking about some more pre-party stuff happening. Mm-hmm. We also have the Madrid pre-party on Saturday, so we'll have a special guest. He will be joining us from the Eurovision Fam team. Mm-hmm. We also will be talking about, so because he's joining us, and it's going to be the Madrid pre-party, we'll be talking about Spain, Albania, Georgia, Moldova, and Czechia. So kind of guess out what the theme is next week.
I have an idea of what the theme is.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, and same fun.
Subscribe, give us some comments, show us some love. We like seeing you guys every time we're here. And
we're Eurovision Fam everywhere.
Vote in the polls, because when you support your favorites and you show us that you're supporting your favorites, it shows them that we're all supporting them. And see you next week, Ariana.
See you guys. Love you guys. Bye. Enjoy your vacation, Georgios. Go outside.
Yeah, have fun in Croatia. Go to the beach.
Croatian beach. All right. See you guys later. Bye.